it go up to like 30 over degrees, right? The total elevation, you can see all the ups and downs, all right? It is total of 4,500 meters. Yeah, especially day 5, there's a big hill here that we need to climb. Okay. Right, so this Gobi March is part of the race. It's organized by Racing the Planet, which is part of the 4 Desert series. So why 4 deserts? Because there are 4 races. You can see there's one. The first one is the Gobi March. Then the second one is Namibia. And then there's Atacama in Chile. And the last one is the Antarctica, right, where it's ice and snow all around. So the last one, okay, is very special because you need to complete 2 of the previous ones, any 2, before you can do the Antarctica race. All right, so if you finish all 4, then you are part of the 4 Deserts Club. Okay, so the next question may be, why is the Antarctica a desert? Okay, isn't desert all like sand and hot weather? Okay, so I also went to Google exactly what is a desert. Okay, so actually a desert is a place that has very little vegetation because it's so dry, so little rainfall. Okay, that's hardly any vegetation, and that's why it's a desert. So in Gobi, you can see that although there are some grasslands, but there's hardly any trees and plants. Okay, so it's very hard to describe to you what is it like in Gobi, in the Gobi Desert. So I'd like to share with you a video, all right, to show you what is it like. Okay, so in case the video is very laggy, okay, I would like to trouble Sunny to send you guys a link on YouTube. You can also go to YouTube to look it up. To click on the link and look at the video yourself. Okay, so I'd like everyone to watch the video together, either through my screen sharing or through your own devices. Okay. Okay, here we go. Seven, 2, 8, 1, 8, 1.
Wonderful. Gobi 2019. He is a little bit tight in the right knee, so you need to keep it easy. Warm it up and push it in.
6. Seven, two, eight, one, eight, one.
Like the hope, finishing the goal.
Oh, awesome. Best part of the day. We crashed.
I hope well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
3, 2, 1.
모두 다 영웅입니다. 파이팅!
It's not finished yet, but we're getting there. We believe in it. Yeah, we can do this.
I'm so happy to be in some minutes on the finish line.
Today's the day. Just try and keep moving. Finish as fast as possible.
All right. Ooh. Okay, Miss Teo, do you see the...
Yes, I can see the screen. What is it like?
Okay, wait lah. What's this? Stop. Okay. Okay, let's just give a few more moments for those who might be finishing up the video. Okay. Okay. Miss Teo, do you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I hope everybody managed to watch the video, either through the screen sharing or through your own devices, right? It's also on YouTube, so yeah, of course, you can go and watch it some more. Okay. So one question that people ask me a lot is like, why do you like sign up for this race and suffer voluntarily? By the way, it's not cheap. It's 3,800 US dollars, right? That's just for the race entry. Then you have to get your own air tickets, a little bit of accommodation before and after the race, and also spend a lot of money on the equipment and the food. Okay, so I think the reason why is very important. And for me, I think the reason why I did this can be summed up in this message. Okay, this quote from Billy Young, who is an ultra runner. He said that when it's your time, do you want to leave a well-preserved body, or do you really want to use it to its potential? A body with stories that says you have pushed it, and at times suffered, and you saw its potential. Okay, so very much that the first reason why I'm doing this is to push myself out of my comfort zone and to see how far I can go, to have a dream, a goal that is so big and so impossible that it's scary, right? But even though it's so impossible, but I know that if I'm disciplined enough, it actually can be done. Another reason that pushed me along the way is that I'm using this event to raise funds for rescue dogs, right? So throughout this the training phase, I campaign, ask my friends, ask the public to raise some funds. They are for 3 particular dog shelters. All right, they don't have government funding, so all they rely on are donations from the public, right? So I had a target of $10,000 before the race, and after the race, guess how much was raised at the end? Okay, it was $11,000. Okay, I was very humbled and inspired by all the donations that came in. And whenever I was like feeling tired during the race and during the training, I remember that it's not just for myself; it's for all the people who donated and also for the dogs. Okay, so training took a big part of my life last year. Started in December 2018. Right, so for the first few months from December to March, it was, I would say, it's like typical trail running kind of training. I did just running with a small backpack, Bukit Timah, MacRitchie. I also went to Hong Kong to do a Trans-Lantau 50 km. All right, that was a very quite a difficult race and also very beautiful. Okay, after Trans-Lantau, that means after March, that's where the training got more specific. Okay, specific to the Gobi race. That means I need to carry about a 10 kg backpack, So my trainings will consist of me carrying a 10 kg backpack. Okay, I either put rice or put weights inside to make it 10 kg. And then I just go for very, very long distances, maybe like 20, 30 km. And eventually I need to put in like 2 or 3 days of consecutive training, right? Because a lot of people can do a marathon, but after that they'll be in bed for the rest of the week. Okay, but for this race, I need to basically do a marathon every day, right? At least for 4 consecutive days, right? So that's the kind of training that we had to do. Okay, I also took part in the local marathons, right? So like Sundown Marathon, the Green Race. Okay, so you'll see this crazy person carrying a huge backpack, running with all the marathon runners, right? And that's me lah. Okay, carrying a 10 kg backpack and doing all the local marathons. Okay, so these are my teammates over here, right? And this is my wife who was also dragged into the training with me. So as a total, throughout the whole period of time, total distance clock was about 1,003, which is about 46 km per week. All right, so if remember, I mentioned just now that day 4 is the long march. So the long march is about 70 over kilometers. So that's the day that all of us got together and we started with 30 km training in the day. So consisted of MacRitchie Trail and some road training. Then at night, we went for the Sundown Marathon. All right, so that's a total of 72 km and with a 10 kg load throughout the day. Okay, we are very serious about it because we also put in a compulsory rest stop before the Sundown Marathon. So one of our teammates had his office was in the CBD, right? So we put out our sleeping gear, test out our gears, and have a 1 hour break in his office before we gear up for the Sundown Marathon. Okay, so apart from training, the logistics is also very important because every gram counts. You don't want to carry too much, right? But yet, if you don't bring enough, okay, you're going to suffer, right? So I started to weigh everything that I'm going to carry. Okay, so over here is a bowl, okay, for eating. And if you find it familiar, okay, it is because, yes, it is, can buy in Daiso. It's only $2 and it's only 69 grams. Right, actually this bowl is a doggy dish, right? It's a collapsible doggy dish, okay, but it is cheap and it's good and it's light, so very good. Okay, there are also some mandatory items that you need to bring, like a whistle and a compass. Okay, so I found this whistle that has a compass with it, so it's 2 in 1 and it's only 15 grams. And this is my spork, and it's not a normal spork, but it's a titanium spork. Right, so last time I will question people, why do you need a titanium spork? Okay, can the plastic spork do the job? Okay, so last year I find myself buying a titanium spork because it is super light, only 19 grams. Okay, so this is a breakdown of all the food that I'm going to carry. Right, so everything needs to be very precise. So you can see over here, like in day 1, this is the distance I will be doing. Breakfast is basically some cream soup, some coffee. Coffee is mandatory. Tailwind is my energy drink. Okay, then for lunch, I will have electrolytes, protein shake with some coconut milk powder. All right, and then some energy bars along the way. And at night, there'll be expedition food and some BCA tablets. Right, so every item I will tabulate the weight. So you can see that each day is about 400 to 500 grams. And each day will be about 2,500 calories, and as well as the salt content. Okay, so all these things are calibrated so that I know that I have enough energy to last throughout, and also I do not exceed the weight. Okay, so at night, right, for dinner time, we cannot cook, okay, and there's no like Grab food delivery in the desert. So what do we do? Okay, so this is basically the dinner that I eat every day. Okay, it looks horrible, but it tastes okay, not too bad. Right, this is the freeze-dried dinner from Expedition Food. All right, it is quite expensive, but each pack is like maybe 1,000 calories. All right, you just add hot water, let it simmer for a few minutes, and you can start eating. All right. Okay. So there was this very special session whereby one of our teammates, she is a food science lecturer in Nanyang Poly, right? So she invited us to her lab, okay, and then we repacked our food. Okay, so our dinner used to be this huge packet over here. It is bulky and heavy, so we repack into smaller packs like this, so as to reduce weight and reduce the size. All right, then after that, we also went into the chiller room. All right, it is about 4 degrees Celsius to test out our cold gear. Right, so we just put on our warm clothing, our down jacket, and then we just sit inside for half an hour to make sure our cold gear works. And these are the items that eventually I brought along to Gobi. Okay, you can see there's sleeping stuff, there's clothes, there's gadgets. Okay, gadgets includes 2 headlamp. It's mandatory to have 2. Okay, GoPro eventually I didn't bring because taking photos and videos can be done with the phone. All right, so phone has multiple users, can take photo, also can serve as an alarm clock. And finally, these are the things that I brought along for the race. Okay, all packed into this bag over here. Okay, may I guess how heavy do you think all these things are? Okay, maybe like to hear some responses. You can unmute your mic and just give me some response.
10 kg.
10 kg. Close. Okay, give it to a decimal point.
10.034 kg.
10.034. Okay. Any other answers?
10.3.
10.3. Okay, close. One more.
10.2.
10.2. Okay, all of you are close, but it's 10.4 kg. Okay. Yeah. So that's why, like, I've been training with 10 kg because yeah, that is the recommended weight lah. Okay, try not to go beyond 10 kg. Of course, there are some people who carry 12 kg or 13 kg, then they really suffer during the race. All right, fast forward. Okay, this shot was taken in the Hong Kong International Airport. All right, and these are the 6 Singaporeans from Singapore who took part in the race. So incidentally, this is the only time or the first time that all 6 of us were gathered together. Because during training, there's always like only 4%, 5%, or different permutations of people. So this is the first time that all 6 gathered. All right, so that's me over here. This is Xin Hui, who is the food science lecturer in Nanyang Poly. This is Chuan Yong. He's finance. He works in the finance industry. This is Ming Yao, who is a futures trader and he works from home. This is Qi Wei. Qi Wei is my colleague from Outbound. Okay, he has since left Outbound and set up his own bouldering gym somewhere in the West. Okay, it's called the Lighthouse. Maybe you have heard of it. And this is my longtime buddy from NS. His name is Zhao Jie. He's a SIA pilot. Okay. All right, so this is the day after we arrived. Okay, it's in the morning we have a race briefing. That's where we met all the other 100 racers from around the world. Okay, like wow, it's like suddenly you feel the whole magnitude of the race. You feel the whole magnitude of the race because you see everybody present in the room. Okay, after the briefing, then that's where we have a mad rush to have our gear check. Right, so gear check is actually a very scary process because you never know if you forget to bring something, right? And if you forget something or something like is lost along the way, they have the right to stop you from joining the race, right? So it's quite a nerve-wracking experience, and you can see it's also quite messy. Yeah. So after the gear check, we quickly have lunch, and then we are put into some vans, and then we go on a 4-hour bumpy ride, right, to the start point. Okay, so over here, this picture is all the Singaporeans. This is Casey, who is a Singaporean who is residing in Hong Kong. So we met him when we were in Mongolia. Okay, we're finally at the base camp, right? Day 0, camp 1. And this is the scene that greeted us as we alighted from the van, right? Basically, you look around the whole horizon, you just see rolling hills, grassland, some sheep, some cows, a lot of horses, and you don't see any buildings. Okay, you see some of these tents. These tents were set up for us, and this banner and these flags, but the rest of the whole horizon, you don't see anybody. And this is how it looks at night. Okay, usually at night after dinner, because it's very cold, all of us will be hiding the tents, right? But if you do come out to take a look, okay, the skies are very clear, the stars are very visible, and every night is actually very beautiful and enchanting, I would say. This was taken by the official photographers. So the next day, the race begins, all right? And just to let you have an idea, this is basically how the scene looks for most of the days. So for like 6-7 days, this is what we see every day. Flat open terrain with rolling hills. Once in a while, you see some houses. The houses are actually what do you call them? The girls, right? The Mongolian girls, which is the Mongolian tents. And then you hardly see people, right? And then you'll be running along all these dirt roads, right? With all the grassland all around you. And it's like the only people you see are the fellow racers in front and behind you. Okay, once in a while you get to cross some streams, all right? Then you get your shoes wet, okay? But after that, you will dry very fast because it's a very dry climate. Cross some rivers, and sometimes you need to scamper over some rocky hills. Okay, on one of the days, right, we have a 10-kilometer of sand dunes. This is the toughest terrain because its sand is soft. So over the sand dunes, right, we only travel at maybe 3 kilometers per hour, right? So that means for 10 kilometers, right, most of us take about 3 to 3.5 hours just to complete this 10 kilometers. And it's really tough. You just have to walk and plow through the 10 kilometers. So to train for this, we actually walk along the Sentosa beach many times. Okay, the people that we meet there, the locals, okay, it's true to say that we see more horses than humans. Okay, there are horses everywhere, and they are really the wild horses that's like running around the grasslands. It's like when you watch those Genghis Khan movies, okay, this is exactly how it looks. Right. So once in a while, we'll see some villagers and some of their kids around, okay, and there are camels as well. Right, this is an aerial shot taken by the official photographer. Okay, so I think Mongolia, they are primarily very Buddhist Buddhist culture. So there's a lot of these like Buddhist kind of like artifacts along the way. Yeah. So there's this bell thing that when you run past or you walk past, you're supposed to turn the bell for good luck. Yeah. Okay, so the whole race, maybe one day is about 40 over kilometers. Okay, but they will put the checkpoints for every 10 to 13 kilometers lah. So in the checkpoint, you can top up your water. You can go for treatment, like over here. You can see Casey having treatment on his blisters, and basically you can just take a rest. Right. So this is my lunch lah. Okay. Remember, I'm having protein shake for lunch, so I just put everything in, shake it up, and then I just drink it up. So in 15 minutes, I will pack everything, take my bag, and then I'll go again. Okay. So there are some places that water refill is mandatory to at least carry 1.5 or 2.5 liters, right? And then off we go again, right? So the checkpoints are like that. There's no like Coke, no energy drink provided, no food, it's just water and basically just take a seat and go. Okay. So there was this one very special checkpoint on the long day whereby they decided to be nice and give us a can of ice cold Coke for every racer, right? So it was like a mirage in the desert. That's why we are so happy. Okay, so obviously, throughout this 6-7 days, it's not just all joy and fun. Okay, there's a lot of times where we really struggled. First of all, is the heat. Okay, so how hot was it? It was about 33, 34 degrees, right? Based on my feel. I would say that sometimes in Singapore it can be even hotter. Okay, but because in the Gobi it is hot and dry, whereas in Singapore it's hot and humid. Right, so the dryness may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. Right, the good bad thing is that yeah, you kind of feel your skin being burned, but you don't feel so sweaty at the end of the day. Right, but it's really hot. So you see the Europeans really struggle with the heat. Blisters. Blisters is something that almost every racer have to experience. Right, some have it maybe just a bit of blisters, but some have it quite bad. Okay, for me, I was quite lucky. I would say that first 3 days, I was quite lucky not to have any blisters. But after the long march, I had 2 big blisters on my foot. Okay, and this is how it looks like. Right, so this is my left foot. My right foot is also the same. Okay, 2 big blisters. And you are wondering why is there a piece of shred that is poked through the blister. Right, so one of the runners from Mexico, he has this method of draining out the fluid. So he will poke a shred through. All right, he leaves the shred there so that the shred will help the fluid to drain out naturally on its own. Right, so yeah, it was pretty good. So of course he will try to clean up his needle before poking through, and then I just leave the shred there for the next couple of days. Yeah. So needless to say, after you get the blister, right, it's every step is a huge pain, right? But I just need to endure through the pain and just finish it. Okay, so this is the long march of day 4. Turned out to be 77 kilometers. Okay, so we start at 8 a.m. as usual, and for us, we finish at about 3 a.m., about 19 hours. Right, so that is me, and this is my SIA friend from Singapore, and this is the team from Hong Kong. All right, so the 5 of us, we stayed together throughout the long march. Okay, we chit chat and we walk along the way. All right, and yeah, although it was a very long day, but it was also pretty fun because we get to know each other better through the very long march. So this is Miss Dorothy. Later we'll get her to share with us, okay, her perspective of the race. Okay, she's now in Hong Kong and she will join us later. Okay, so other than racing and like walking, running, okay, there's also the down times where we after we reach campsite and then we get to rest. Right, so that's Chuan Yong, okay, trying to dry his socks over the fire pit. All right. And then this is taken during the rest day, whereby there's a river beside, and you can see them, just soaking their feet in the water and just having a day off, right? Just to rest their tired legs. Something that we look forward to every day is the breakfast time where we gather to have our breakfast together, and also dinner time where we, after reach campsite, okay, we get clean and dry, and then we eat our freeze-dried meals together. And that's where we see all the racers from different countries coming together and just to chit-chat and eat over dinner. All right, so this is also during the rest day. Okay, so can you guess which is the Korean over here? Okay, the Korean, yeah, it's the one with the face mask, yeah? Okay, Korean always have face masks. Okay, so right now I'd like to special mention to a few highly inspirational individuals that I met throughout the race. First of all is this lady called Eva. She's 51 and she's from China. All right, so this race was her 5th 4 deserts race. Her very first one was also the Gobi March, and she did not finish, so DNF. Right, so she didn't get a medal for her first race. But she didn't give up. She went on to do the Sahara, the Atacama, and she even did the Antarctica race. Right, so she completed the rest of the 3, and last year she decided to come back for the Gobi to complete all 4 races. Right, and every day when you see her, right, she doesn't run, she just walks. Right, so from the start to end, she'll just walk and walk and walk, just walk all the way to the end. And every evening about 7 p.m., she will finish the race. Right, when everyone is like having dinner, she will come in and then she will finish the race, and then we'll all gather at the finish line to cheer for her. Right, so you can be a very fast runner and reach campsite by lunchtime, or you can be a walker like her. At the end of the day, everyone's a finisher. Right, so from her own words, okay, she will tell me that 这个比赛你不用跑快的你只要你走也可以走得完。Right, so that is a very inspiring quote from her. You just keep going, don't give up, and eventually you'll finish it. And now she's the proud owner of the Four Deserts Club. Okay, so this is a special medal given to people who have completed all 4 races. Okay, another one is Roshan. Okay, he's from UK but living in Singapore. So from day 2, he was already injured. Right, so when he was injured, right, he was limping along the way. Every step was a limp. Okay, and he will limp and limp all the way until day 7 for the rest of the 170 plus kilometers. And every day while he's limping, he always has a smile and it looks very positive. Right, so when he finished his race on the last day, okay, I was just so impressed and inspired by him. I went to give him a hug because I've seen how much he has suffered over the last 7 days. So it's truly inspiring how people can overcome their pain just to finish the goal that they set out to do. Okay, last but not least is this 19-year-old girl from Hong Kong. Her name is Lok Lam. She's a former drug abuser, okay, but she completed the race. This race is also a form of adventure therapy for her. So later on, Miss Dorothy, who joined this race with her, will come and share with us about their experiences, how they train for the race, and why the school sends them to the Gobi March every year. Okay, and finally, this is the finish line after like 7-8 months of training, 7 days of hard work, right? And these are all the Singaporeans that have finished the race. Okay, so right now I'd just like to share a little bit more on our current situation, the circuit breaker, and how some of the lessons that I learned from Gobi can be applied to the circuit breaker. Okay, first of all, is the discipline to do the right things. Okay, because when training for the race, I have to spend all my weekends training, each day maybe like 4 to 6 hours, and even 2 to 3 days in a row. It's definitely something that is out of my comfort zone. It's something that I'm not used to, but I know that I need to do it in order to complete this race. So it's about doing the right things, even though you're not used to it, even though you may not understand. My dog. Okay, so even if you have to do the right things, even though it may not be comfortable and it may be out of your comfort zone. Okay, so just like the circuit breaker, we have to stay home even though it is something that we are not used to. Okay, next is about positivity in adversity. Okay, so the long march was very, very long. Okay, it took 19 hours. That's the day that most of us dread. Okay, but somehow during the long march, I kind of enjoy it in a way because we get to trek at night. And at night, the stars are beautiful. We get to enjoy the stars, and then I get to also to chit chat and to know my friends better from Hong Kong, and as well as my friend from SIA, right? So even though we are going through difficult times, there are always things that you can look forward to find the positivity in it. So during the circuit breaker, although we have to stay home, we cannot go out, okay, but there are things that we can still be positive about. At least we have a home to go to. We can do things at home and improve ourselves, and we can still do online sharing. Okay, last but not least is to help others, right? So during the race, there are times whereby I'm very tired and I'm struggling, but when I have a chance to help other people who may also be struggling, I find that I have more energy myself. So there was this point whereby we need to go over some very high cliffs, some rocky cliffs, and there was a runner from UK who was very scared of heights. Okay, so me and Zhao Jian, we decided to slow down and just guide him over the rocky cliffs, all right, so that he can complete that part safely and successfully. And I think that gave him that helped him to overcome his fear and also gave us a lot of strength to carry on the race. So during this circuit breaker, if you can, do your bit to help other people who may be in a worse situation than you. Okay, maybe do some donation or provide your service to the healthcare workers or to the foreign workers. Okay, so with that, I end my sharing over here. I shall stop sharing. Okay. Okay. So is Dorothy here?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay, so as I said, Dorothy is a friend I met in in Gobi. She's from Hong Kong, and she took part in the race together with her student. All right. So very glad that she can join us. She's now in Hong Kong, probably in Central or somewhere, and hear the story from her, right? Because she also has a very interesting story and a very different perspective of why they joined this race. Okay, so over to you.
Okay. Just to check, is everyone clear? Like, because I'm wearing a mask, is it okay, or should I take it off, just in case you can't hear me clearly?
It's okay. Yeah, very clear, Dorothy. We can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Because I'm in Starbucks, so it's not very nice for me to take it off. Right. So, hi everyone. My name's Dorothy, and I'm currently working in a boarding school for juvenile delinquents. Am I going to share my screen now?
Yeah, you just let me know.
Okay. Let me see. How am I going to do it?
Okay, I'll do it. I can do it for you.
No, but I think I can share.
Okay, sure.
Like this, right?
Present now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to start. Yeah. Can everyone see the screen now?
Yep,
Okay. Good. All right. So.
You can enlarge. Yeah.
All right. So I stopped. Right. So hi everyone. So as Alex has just mentioned, that I'm Dorothy and I'm a teacher, and that's my student. That's Lot Lam, and as he has mentioned, she is a former drug abuser, and she was caught by the police because of drug trafficking, and so she was sent to our school by the court. And she has been here for around 4 years, and now she's taking the DSE exam, which is the O-level or A-level in Singapore. And she has just finished her English exam today, and math is coming up on Saturday. So, right. So just a little background, and I think Alex is very interested in our school, so I want to give a very brief background on it. So our school is in a very remote place in Hong Kong. So if you come to Hong Kong to travel, you'll never visit this place. I need to travel from my home to the school. It takes me like 2.5 hours. So I can actually fly to Taiwan and then come back. Yeah, so it's actually very far. You can see it's very, everything is very primitive. We don't have aircon. We don't have any proper classrooms. We were in the southern tip of Lantau Island, if you know where it is. This is our school logo with the maze. And so we need our boat will reach this pier, and then we'll hike a little bit, and then we'll reach our dormitory and also the school area. So this is how it looks. And every day, this is the school boat. So we'll send in fresh supplies like vegetables and all that. So then the boys will help to carry up the hill to let everybody have it. So this is the background of my school. Sorry. Right. And then, so going back to the race. So just now, I think Alex has mentioned a lot about the race. So maybe I'll focus on the preparation part, our preparation part, and also like what have I learned or what we have learned from it. And the first thing is, oh, did I just stop? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just now, Alex has mentioned that he has used the entire year or almost a year to prepare it for the race, right? But for us, from knowing to going, how long do you think we have? Can you make some guesses? You can unmute your mic so that I know I'm not talking to myself. Anyone? No guesses.
2 years.
2 years. Okay, any other guesses?
1.5 year.
1.5 year. Any more?
5 months.
6 months.
6 months. Okay. Actually, nobody is close. So so the race start was in July, late July, right? We both know it in early June. All right. So how long do I have for preparation? Calculation. 1, 2, 3, go. Anyone?
2 months.
A month, yeah, around 5 to 6 weeks. Because basically we have 6 weeks from knowing to going, but then the last week will be the recovery week. So rest week. So we don't train at all. So from the first week of June to the second week of July, we have 6 weeks. Well, 5 to 6 weeks to prepare for it. But the thing is, Lok Lam is a girl whom she has never carried a backpack to hike ever before. So it was like a complete mission impossible to us. So we started, and we started to, just carry the backpack and then to walk. What is the good thing about our school is that because we're in a remote place, so we have the whole, we can hike around, but our loop is only 1.5 kilometers. So imagine if we need to do long distance, like 40 or 42 kilometers, we have to hike like 100 laps. Is it 100? I don't know. Like, you can do the math. I'm so sorry. So yeah, the loop is like 1.5 kilometers. So see, we have. Do you recognize this rock? It's like I want to remove this, but anyway. So this is like, because my school is doing some construction, and they have this little sand dunes for the construction work, and then she just thought this could be like imitating how does walking on sand, like, because she assumed that we are going to a desert, right? I mean, we are going to a desert, but and then we don't have any sand to walk on, so she walked on the sand dunes which the construction workers put there, and then she said this is like a good training for her, so she walks it. And then, so because we don't have anything professional for training, so how do we add on the weights on our backpack? It's like we use all the shampoos, shower gel, and water bottles to put in, so to add on the weights for our training. Yeah, and it's actually very tough. So from walking, because I've just mentioned that she has never ever hiked, so we started off like doing very easy, just normal hikes, and then we do longer duration, and then because we only have lessons in the morning, so usually right after we finish the morning lessons, we started to walk. And the longest one, we walked till around 10 p.m. Yeah, so it was actually pretty fun and pretty tough as well, because Hong Kong is super humid. I think in Singapore as well. So all of a sudden it can pour, the rain can pour, and then but suddenly it becomes like super sunny. But right after the rain, it will start to get cool, and like I need to actually put on a jacket to hike. So we actually experienced extreme weather during the trainings, but we are glad because this has prepared us to go to Gobi, which we think is actually much more comfortable than our training at school. Yeah. So we are doing the sewing, and these are the other girls, which is helping us to sew the patches on the clothes and t-shirts. And this is when we are ready. We are packing everything into our luggage, and yeah, before we set off. So during our training, our other friends in the school, so other classmates, are very supportive. So they're preparing Pocari Sweat for us. See, we put it in the little cup, and then we have the candy, the biscuits, and that is something I don't know what is that. Maybe some like Chinese medicine or so. So like it's very minty, and then when we're feeling dizzy, you can put like something that your grandma would use, I believe. Yeah, and then they put on their toys to cheer us up. So we are actually very blessed to have their support. And then we also make friends with the construction workers. We're often being misrecognized by the hikers who are lost, because the people who hike, if they know the way, they can actually hike from the other side of Lantau Island to here. So everybody thought we were lost because we were hiking like doing loops all the time. But we told them we are not, we are just training. And then so the construction workers were like, oh, so where are you going? Then we were saying, oh, we're going to have this race in the desert. We're doing 250 kilometers. And so they meet us every day, and then we started to become friends. So it was pretty fun. Yeah, and then before we set off to the airport, our other girls walked down to the pier, and even our little dog, not little, but like our dog, come down to the pier, and we said goodbye. So yeah, so when we reached Mongolia, we started the real thing. I think Alex has mentioned a lot about it. So I think I'm not going to talk much about it, but this is the this is a very happy picture, I find, because in our school we cannot sing any kind of pop songs. Yeah, so no pop songs. But then because like Lok Lam is the youngest, and then everyone, like including Alex and Zhao Jie and also us, were like really taking care of her. And then she said she needs something to energize, like some songs to energize her, and then they played Lady Gaga's song, and then we all get super hyper, and then we started the evening walk after we had the dinner break. So it was very happy. Yeah, so as you can see, we are actually very happy. We are being not happily complained by the doctors there, the medical team, saying like every time they saw us, we are like so talkative, so noisy, and they said like these two girls are way too happy. So they don't find us feeling tired at all. But actually we are very tired, just FYI. Yeah, and we crossed the river, and then this is a nice picture because so Lok Lam is the youngest candidate participant, and then the other one, now you see Renzo is the oldest runner in the race, and I think he has done plenty of races as well. Then they took a picture together. He's from Italy. And then this is the checkpoints. Actually, I don't know why, but I did get a lot of blisters, but get none. But we are wearing the same thing, you know, like we're like 100% twins. Like our cap are the same. We have the same T-shirt, same pants, same socks, same shoes. It's just that her shoes size are bigger than mine, but I don't know why she get none. But then I started to have blisters on day 2, and then it was really, really tough for me. Like, as I said, we're not actually feeling very, very tired. Like, I think our fitness are pretty well, but then it's really the blisters that hurt. I think this also teach me or remind me of another thing is that there are always things that are out of your control. Is that even though, no matter how hard you train, you think how well prepared you think you are, there are always things that comes unexpectedly that can, like, how to say that will makes you feel like you want to quit, but then it's always the determination that drives you forward. Yeah. So, and then, you know, I think it was the very first time that I had blisters on my body, and they all laughed at me. They said I'm like a princess for like the previous 20 plus years. But yeah, that was a very different experience. And then there are some beautiful snapshots that we are helping each other, and then the view is actually very beautiful. We're helping each other, and then we're taking pictures. It's like we really enjoy the race, I think. So, okay, so let's move on to the best part. I think there are 3 things that I would like to share with you all. Like, the first thing is that I think it is a very precious chance for me to go with Lot Lam because she is my student. Like, how many of you can go to a 250 kilometers race with your teacher, right? So when we go, and when other racers were like seeing us and they said, "Oh, are you two from university, or are you two sisters?" And then I said, "No, and then she said, "No, she's my teacher." And then nobody believes in her. Like, nobody thinking, "Oh, really? No, you're kidding. You two are sisters." No, we're not. You two are friends. No, she's my teacher. Really, she's my teacher. But nobody believes us until we tell our whole story to them. So it makes us like it's really, really great that we have such chance to complete this together. So I think the proudest thing that, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm very proud of myself finishing the race, the ultra marathon, but I would say I'm very proud and I'm very glad and grateful that I have completed the race with my students. Because I think without my student, I think this entire race is, it will be of much less important in my life than having it with her. So I think this is the very, very crucial part of the race. Yeah, so you see, and then we get so close, like until today. So, I mean, and then yesterday she was saying because we are so close, we know each other so well that we are always teasing each other, and she's always bullying me, and we just established this very, very close relationship that she's even closer than my own sister and my own family now. Yeah, so I think it's very 难得 in Chinese, right? It's very 难得 that we can have this experience together. And okay, so here is that we, apart from me and Lot Lam, actually we have another 3 members from the school. So you can see the other 2 boys that standing beside me. They are also the students. They are part of the filming crew. So our school actually has a very professional video production crew, which they sent. They will receive jobs and then they go to do video production. And then the one on the right is their teacher, is like our staff. So he was once a student in our school, so he probably has committed something bad previously, and then he studied in our school, and then he picked up the skill, and then he becomes really good at it, and then now he is working together with the students and teach them skills. So they were here to film the whole race. I think Alex has showed you the video that produced by them, right? Just now.
Yes, the
Yeah.
video that was shown just now is produced by them.
Yeah. So I think it's another very beautiful moment that like we are all there together. And this is like taken after we finished the race. So it was a very, very precious moment. Yeah. So, and then the second, okay, yeah. So the first part is the teacher and student relationship, and then the second thing is about this desert part, which teach me and Lok Lam a lot of things. I'm sorry, but I haven't told you guys like why can we be there. It's because there is this company sponsoring us every year to go. I will mention more about it later. So this company sent a staff to join our team. Our team is consist of members from the company and also members from our school. So this year we have 2 from our school and 1 member from the company. So the 3 of us forms a Hong Kong team. So the 3 of us are supposed to walk together. Just now, some students has mentioned or have made guesses that they have prepared for, like they thought we have prepared for 2 years, right? So our member, like the other teammate, he is called Deki. Deki has prepared for 2 years because he has listened to the sharing by his colleague, which has completed the race 2 years ago, and then he was so determined that he quit smoking at that day, and then he started to have training. But then when it comes to the real thing, like this is the day when we walk on the sand, because as I told you, my feet was filled with blisters, right? So I actually was the slowest among the 3, because whenever we walk on like those very stony or rocky grounds, it hurts. It really, really hurts. But then when it comes to this, I love it. Like it's like I can hop around because the sand absorbs all the pressure, so my feet is actually not so painful. But then to them, it's very, very hot because once they walk up, they sleep down, so they find it very, very tough. But then I enjoyed it a lot. So I was the one who is like in the front and singing and cheering and dancing for them because they find it really tough, and then they keep complaining, oh, when is the end of this, when is like how hard is it, and then they just made all sorts of complaints during this part of the race. And so no matter then it's interesting to see how because like you can see Deki, he is more like of an like an uncle age. Okay, it's not anything for negative, a neutral statement. Okay, like he's like an uncle to us. So he's like a manager in the company. So he's supposed to be like super experienced. So he was like talking really, really positive things to us. Like, oh no, like no matter the time or how the pace is not really the most important, but then the most important thing is we complete it together. But then when it comes to this very, very challenging part, everything seems to be forgotten, as in like we all walk on our own, and we seems to have forgotten that we are doing this together. So this is also what I told Lok Lam, is that it is not about the words that we say. Like when we are in a very comfortable zone, like when we are in the, like say now I'm sitting in Starbucks, I'm very comfortable, I can tell you, oh, you know what, result is not important, it's the process that matters, and blah 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 blah. These are like very, very nice words to hear, but then when it comes to the very difficult situation, is it possible for you to apply what you said instead of doing the other way around? Or you get what I mean? Like it's like when it comes to difficult times, it's very easy for our actions to be not aligned with what we said, because we are so blinded by our emotions and our frustrations and our suffering that we want to quit, and then so all these negativity will just filled up our mind, and we forget everything that we are supposed to have or we're supposed to believe in. So I think this is a very big lesson that we learned through this, especially this sand dunes part. I don't know how Alex find it, but I find it really, really enjoyable.
I find it very hard.
Yeah, but it's funny because like Alex wasn't with us, but then Zhao Jie and Qi Wei was with us that time, and then I was, because I would have to wait for them, and I was walking ahead and I was like cheering at the very far end, and then I was like singing and cheering for them, and then Zhao Jie were also waiting for Qi Wei, and then so we have nothing to do, and then I asked him to do yoga pose because I do yoga, and it was very funny. Like he was super not flexible, that he was using the tracking pole to do all the hands and like postures. So you need to learn how to entertain yourself in the desert, I think. Yeah. So that's the second part, the second thing. And then I think the third thing that I want to mention, yeah, so you can see it's actually very hot for them. So I think the third part is the people that we met around the world. So this is the last night before our last day of the race. So as you can see, we have members from Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, and Korea. We are having this international buffet. As Alex had mentioned, we are eating the freeze-dried food, right? So you can see on the table. And then we are exchanging all different kinds. Like Alex brought the ones from Singapore, and then we have the ones from China. We taobao from them. And then we have the Japanese style. No, I think we have tried something Korean. I forgot. So we just basically take out everything that we have to share because that's the last day. And I think we really enjoyed it. Yeah.
One thing I learned is that if you want to buy freeze-dried food, buy those from China because they taste better, and the rice looks like rice.
Yeah, it's actually very nice. We have 鱼香茄子饭, is it like, and then 五香牛肉饭. It's very nice. Yeah.
So we actually always steal food from the Hong Kong runners.
Yeah. So this is the last dinner, and then as Alex had mentioned, we always have dinner together, but we didn't exchange food before because we fear like we cannot adapt to it and everyone will get sick, like we'll have diarrhea. So we only do it on the last day. So this is the last day when we exchange food. Yeah, so that's the three things that I would like to highlight with you all. And then the last thing that I want to share with you is like, as I mentioned, this is our school is able to join the race is because there's this very, very nice company which sponsored us every year. And so this is taken 2 years ago. With another girl. I don't know if you recognize the one on the left. It's actually the one who do the filming, but he looks fatter here, so he slims down a little bit. Yeah, so and then because I can't find any photos for 2018, so this is 2017. What I find it very nice is that I don't know what is your aspiration. Like I'm sure a lot of you may want to work in, I don't know, big companies and all that. But a lot of times in this current society, we always think, oh, we do charity work, and then from big companies, they donate money. But what I appreciate them is that sometimes it's really not about the money, but then they try to experience this together. They try to send the staff to experience it with those whom they want to serve. And I think this is a very, very beautiful part of the whole thing. Like, I don't know whether you've learned about CSR, corporate social responsibility, but there are a lot of companies trying to do it, but then they just donate money. But what is special about this is that they really try to engage themselves and send their staff to experience this together to make both sides learn and grow together, which I think is very nice. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much that I want to share right now. Yeah.
Okay.
You can ask me questions later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so we've come to the end of our sharing. So maybe right now we like to, if you have any questions for us, you can put on the Mentimeter, or you can also ask us verbally. All right. And then, yeah, myself or Dorothy, we will try to answer your questions as much as possible.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So maybe to start the ball rolling, on the Mentimeter, there is a question. How does one prepare themselves for these activities if we are based in Singapore? Right. So, okay. Okay, so maybe I'll answer this one. Okay, so in Singapore, the good thing is that we have the weather. Okay, we have the hot, humid weather to prepare for desert race. And also the desert is quite flat, right? So there's no need to do a lot of hills and elevation training. We just need to go for very long jogs, long slow jogs, long walks on the road. But to prepare for the sand, we just go to the beach. Like we went to Sentosa to walk along the beach, right? And then yeah, so to put yourself familiar with the terrain, all right, and then we can do the race. So can prepare for the races. Yeah.
Maybe I just organize the questions a bit and then just facilitate the flow of some of these questions and combine a few of them. I think because of most people's lifestyles, I think generally for students, for teachers, for in office, more regularly, and maybe Alex Tan who's doing OBS, so he's doing more activities, these things. So fitness-wise might be better. So maybe, I will just group up 2 to 3 of the questions for Dorothy here, because I think our students here are more interested in how you and your student actually prepare. So for example, it takes a lot of energy to prepare for this kind of activities daily. So when you say you have only like 1+ month, did you have to change your diet to get ready for it so that you can fuel your daily activities? And yeah, I think we will start off with that first.
Okay, so it's for Dorothy.
All right. So, okay. Right. So, food. Right. We actually don't have anything extra, but because we live in a very simple. We have a very simple lifestyle. We only have 3 meals a day, and we only have limited. I mean, not limited, but we're very simple dishes every day. But then because of this race, I am allowed to bring in like biscuits, energy bars, candies, chocolates for the training. So Lok Lam was actually very happy with all the extra food. But so that's like the kind of motivation that keeps her moving. But in terms of a special diet or anything changes to our lifestyle, there isn't much. Yeah, if that's answer your question.
Alex, you want to add anything since you went with a food science? Sorry, Alex, you're muted.
Yeah. Is it about the food?
Yes, still on the food. So
Yeah.
nutrition.
Okay. Yeah. So during training, okay, so there is a mandatory 2,000 calories per day that we need to carry. So this is required, right? But from the training, you need to kind of estimate how much you actually need a day. So from my training on the weekends, I estimate that I'll need about 2,500 calories per day to do 40+ kilometers. So I calculate my food based on 2,005 a day, and then I make sure that the calories I bring along meets that requirement. Also the salt requirements, electrolytes, and as well as the proteins lah. Yeah. So food wise, you really need to practice during training because you do not know whether you will actually like the food or whether you will throw up. So you do all these things, practice and get your body used to the food during training, so that when race day comes, when you're over there, there are no surprises.
Okay. Another question on the preparation. What kind of footwear do you all wear over there? Because the terrain is actually quite unique.
Okay, I'll answer this one first. I'm not a sponsored athlete or ambassador for any brand. Okay, so I went with the Solomon Speed Cross 4. Why? Because the shoes, Speed Cross 4 has a very deep lux. That means the sole has a kind of like almost like a football studs. So it works well in a soft mud as well as a sandy terrain. And why I chose this because previously I had another version of Speed Cross and it works well in this kind of sandy and soft mud terrain. So I decided to stick with the same model and use it for the desert race. Yeah. How about Dorothy?
For us, actually, during our training, we just wear our normal sports shoes. So we're wearing Mizuno to walk, like during that 6 weeks of training. But then before, like I think 2 3 days before the race, we got the shoes from the company, which is like I think the brand is Ultra, Altra, and then it was like it was like high platformed. It's like we're wearing platform shoes, so we're like walking on a spongy cake. I don't know how how to describe it, but it is really interesting because we are not used to such kind of shoes. Maybe Lot Lam adapt it way more better than I do. That's why she didn't get any blisters. But when I walk on that little spongy cake shoes, I got a lot of blisters.
Just to clarify this ultra shoe and also the model that Alex was mentioning, they are suitable for water terrain, sand terrains, and also just ground, solid ground.
Yeah, basically they are trail shoes, so they are suitable for all these natural elements, like the outdoors, the mud, the sand, and the water. Yeah.
And I assume you all actually would probably prefer to just train at least a few days with it to familiarize with its usage, like what Dorothy said.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know.
I will move on to another question. I think this is directed at Dorothy. So, can you share like what do you hope girls can gain from this experience, and what are the goals and whether they were met?
So I think the the reason why our principal decided to bring us there, it's not really wanting us to like finish it with excellent results. It's just that we have the determination and desire to complete the race because there were staff thinking that we might die because we are so unprepared. We thought like there are only 6 weeks and people have to prepare ultra marathon for at least 6 months. That's what I saw from the internet. But then we only have 6 weeks, and and then the other staff or other girls might think, oh, will they die like in this extreme weather I don't know condition and all that. But then we said, and then I think Lot Lam was very happy to have such opportunity, and she doesn't really worried a lot. She just think, oh, if we cannot finish, then cannot finish. Lord, it's okay. We just go and enjoy. But then for me, I think I have a higher expectation, or I don't know. I would before I go, I would say, oh, what if we cannot finish? I feel like I cannot overcome that feeling if I really cannot finish the race because every day they have this cut off time. But then she is actually the one who comforted me by saying, "Oh well, it's okay. Even we don't finish it, we can still be supporters, and we can be in the volunteer team to cheer for others, and it will still be fun and be meaningful." And so she is the one who comforted me at that time. But then when we were doing the training, she was the one who got defeated because she thought she cannot make it because she was so she find the training very tough because it's very very hot in Hong Kong. Like in June and July, it was like 35 degrees Celsius, and then all of a sudden, and then sometimes she's feeling unwell that she want to puke and all that, and she thought she cannot make it. And then so I was the one who cheer for her and comfort her, and I said it's okay, even we cannot finish our target distance today, it's still okay. And then we try to support each other, and I think it works pretty well. mm, but then so this was like during the preparation time, and when we were there, I think we both mm, get a lot of things that are out of our expectations. But in terms of, you said, goal setting, like our goal is like to just do our best. So we did our best, and then we get way more than what we expect. Like yeah, so for instance, we thought we would just finish the race, and then we did it. But then we have a lot of extra things that we gain, like the learning that I've just shared with you. And I have like this 24/7 geography lesson with Lao Lam because she don't have geography lesson. And there's one very interesting part is that she can't believe desert has green things. She always think desert is like the Sahara desert or those. So when she see all the greeneries, the pastures, that she told me this is not desert. Then I said, no, this is a desert. This is Gobi desert. Then she can't believe it. So I need to explain to her, like, desert is defined by the precipitation, any precipitation, but not like whether you see the greeneries or not. So on the day when she walks on the sand dunes, she's actually very happy because she thinks she'll really get into the desert that day. But actually, we were in the desert for the sand dunes. So yeah, so that was something there are a lot of things that we learned and we gained that is out of our expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would assume that just to have a follow up on that, I think someone asked about the fears that you have before the race itself. It would just be the weight of expectations that you can't complete the race or meet the daily cutoff, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest fear is not to finish the race. Then I mean, I know that people like friends will kind of forgive you. It's like, it's okay, you have done your best. Okay, but deep down, I really want to finish it for myself and as well as for them, and as well as for those people who donated money because they hope that I can finish the race. Yeah, so it's for the people around me.
Yeah, so I guess it's more of the weight of expectations. Maybe we move to some questions related to during the race, maybe a short one, for example. So how do you guys keep yourself refreshed during the race? Like when you're racing, you will feel tired, everything. Do you have dry showers? Do you pour water over your head or do other things during the race itself to keep refreshed?
And Dorothy, you go first.
Yeah, sure. We have this very, very great entertainer, Alex, to sing for us at checkpoints. Yeah, so I think it's like we just talk, we just chit chat, and then we had fun. I think teammates are really important. I mean, not teammates, but the fellow racers. You're not doing it alone. We were having this conversation. I think I forgot which day, but then we were saying, oh, walking on this endless path and everywhere looks the same is actually very very boring, and you'll think that, like, why am I doing this? But when you have people beside you, you just find it, no matter how painful your blisters are, you just go through it together because you enjoy it rather than focusing on the stress. Oh, and then we have very lame jokes and also those IQ questions. like yeah. So that I think that's what keep us alive.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I may add a little bit, I think the interaction with fellow racers is something that really perks us up. Because I think we're not there to win the race. We can't win. So our objective every day is just to reach the campsite before the cutoff time. All right. So that means that we do have a lot of time to play with. We can afford to slow down, can afford to walk, and afford to like chit chat and crack jokes. Yeah. So throughout the race, right, we have a lot of cross-cultural, cross-national exchange of lame jokes between Singapore and Hong Kong, right? So they know our Singapore lame jokes, and now we also know the Hong Kong lame jokes.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Like, it's more of the camaraderie parts that drive you on.
That's right.
Okay. Actually, the time itself is a bit overrun, but I think there's still one or two more interesting questions. So I think I'll just pick the last two questions here. So a lot of both your presentations, a lot of it, the focus was on what motivates you, what drives you. But during the race itself, you get blisters. Maybe would you like regret during the race itself, like feel like giving up? What did I sign up for? That kind of stuff. So is there any other motivation other than just, I want to prove that I can do this? Or is there any additional things that keeps you motivated during the march itself to complete it? Okay, sorry. Let me just rephrase that a bit. So I think part one is, were there times when you feel like giving up? So if so, what drove you on?
So for me, honestly speaking, once you are there, there is never a glimmer of thought that I will be giving up. Yeah, because I think the whole excitement of being there, you just want to finish it, right? And if you just walk every day, just as long as you stay injury free, you just walk, all right, you will get there. So it's actually not that difficult if you just continue walking, and day by day you just keep walking, and then after that you just get used to the whole routine of it, and yeah, very fast 6 days 7 days go by and you find that you're at the finish line. Yeah, so there wasn't any thought of actually stopping once you're there.
I think for me, I have no choice because I'm the teacher, right? So I can't give up unless my student give up. So, so I have never thought of giving up. Yeah, because I can't. So I try to adjust myself, like when my blisters really hurt, and then when I thought I'm dragging down the whole team because they have to wait for me, especially when we go down slope with that rocky stony path, I just like I hold on to my tears, and then I just take a deep breath, and then I just rush down, and then I like bearing the pain, and then I just rush down, and then I run past the two of them. And then I start to slowly crawl so that they will slowly catch up. And then I take a deep breath again and rush. And then I go forward again. Yeah. And for Lot Lam, I think the biggest motivation for her was that the buffet. And the buffet at the end, like after the race, we were back to Ulaanbaatar to have that, award ceremony. And we were told that there would be a very nice buffet. So she was always reminding me and herself that we are going to have a buffet at the end. But in the end, the buffet was not as nice as we expect. So, but still, yeah, that was motivate the both of us to go.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, like I said, our time is running out, so I'll end with one more question. There's a few other questions here. Maybe we can address them another time or separately or take them offline or something. We'll see how that goes. But since we are gonna end, maybe I will just close it with the end of the race as well. So after the race was over, I think there's two parts to this. Firstly, what kind of changes do you all have? I guess at the physical level first, because there was a question about post-race recovery. How do you all recover after the race? Because after you finish a marathon, a lot of people, like Alex said, will sleep for the whole week after that because they are just But for Gobi March itself, you have to race every day. You still push yourself on. So after 1 week of that, I guess it's worse. So physically, what's the toll it took? And I guess on a more higher level, what kind of spiritual changes or mental changes did it have on you? Yeah, anyone?
Okay. Okay, I'll start first. Okay, maybe on a physical level, after the race, the most noticeable thing is I lost some weight. So that was the happiest thing. But actually, after a few months, the weight just gained back, and with more kg as compensation. Right. So after the race, I kind of like stopped running for a couple of months. But maybe about 1-2 months later, I started jogging again, and then I started to plan for the next goal for 2020. So I actually have a big goal for 2020, which is to do a big mountain race in France, or it's called the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc. Of course, now it is cancelled already, right? But I think it's important that after you finish a milestone, you do not just be complacent and relax, but you plan for the next one, the next thing that can challenge you. And this is what keeps us alive, to keep challenging ourselves and to ask ourselves what's next, right? So on a so-called spiritual level, yeah, I think, like I said, it's always important to keep challenging yourself and push yourselves further. And also the things that we learned in the desert can also be applied to the current circuit breaker situation and in many areas in our life.
Okay, and then for me, I think the first thing is the same as Alex, which we both lost a lot of weight, and not a lot, but some weight, but then we gained back very soon. Actually, for both of us, we were not that exhausted, to be frank, because as we wrote a written sharing, and we both agree that if we have to do another 100K, we're happy with it, like right after the race, because I think we recover pretty soon. I think one of the reasons, I think, because we stretched a lot, and they always said because we were young. I think that's also a key to help us recover very soon. We also have the next target, like at the end of last year, we plan to do the full marathon, the full marathon in Hong Kong in February this year. So we were training for it, but to Lot Lam, it's like much tougher because she doesn't like running. But then for the Gobi March, we can walk a lot. We just need to walk really fast, but we don't really have to run a lot. But then for her, she really hates running. So our goal is to do this 42 kilometers in February. But then when we were doing the training until up to, I think, 30 plus kilometers, but then we realized, and then we know that the race will be canceled because of the coronavirus. So she was telling me after the exam she wants to do another 42 kilometers with our 1.5 kilometers loop. So we will try to do it after her exams. Yeah, and I think for like mental or spiritual part, it's like for Lot Lam, I think she grows more mature, as in she is more observant, and she would not be so hot-tempered because she has witnessed or experienced someone with more hotter temper than her in times of frustrations. So she actually knows that she cannot be like that. And when she comes back, everyone would say, like our other staff or teachers were saying, like she is more calm and steady in her how she reacts to daily life. And I also teach her a lot. I mean, she also gained a lot on how to think more comprehensively, because she is always a very straightforward thinker and very simple-minded. But then every word that you say, it actually influences a lot of people, or may have a very big impact. So she's more cautious of that. Yeah, I think that's like she's getting more and more mature after the race. I think that's a very important lesson that she learned. Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's getting late and close to dinner time for most of y'all, I guess. So I think just want to thank the two of you for your time first. Miss Do, you have anything else to add?
No. Thank Thanks a lot for this very informative and touching sharing of your event. And I know that the students will actually benefit from it from this session, especially during this time where everyone is actually confined at home. I think it serves as an inspiration and a motivation to each and every individual that is listening here. Yep. Thank you.
I just have one last thing to add. Is that if you would like to join this race, it's not too late or not too early, right? I think after A levels or during your uni is the best time to do something like this. But also, if you like to do something where it's like not so extreme, right? You can also come and talk to me. There are some programs in Outward Bound that may be suitable for you, like the 21 days local program, which is free, or you can do some overseas races, right? So take it like a stepping stone to push yourself out of your comfort zone, all right, before you do something a bit more extreme. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, with that, you all, thanks a lot and goodbye, people. Thank you, Dorothy. Nice to see you and meet you. Thank you, Mr. Tan. Goodbye, people. Have a good dinner.
Thank you. Bye bye.
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 Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Asuni. Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Sorry. Thanks. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Miss Teo, I think Idris, like he said, he went to prepare dinner, everything. So
I
you
can set him up. I'll bring him up. Yeah. Thanks for the sharing the last session.
Then to make things slightly better,
Yeah.
and
Wait.
there is also a preferred that you end the recording first before you
Oh
leave.
shit! I forgot.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Wait. Let me end it first.
Yeah, even if you end call, the recording will still end, so it's fine.
Is it? Wait.
I've done it before.
Wait. It's not clicking. I think it's okay. Stop recording.